they cut Matt Gay. They signed Jake Moody. And then yesterday they released their highest rated receiver all season, Jacoby Jones.
Now, poor Jacoby Jones. So I saw him go on social media talk about his first NFL catch.
Size? No, I'm just saying no receiver any week it was as high as rated as he was last week.
One catch, right? Just the one catch, but it was a big catch.
It's like a 93 rating or something. Now, I think they'll bring him back. I think it's just one of those deals, they'll put him back on the practice squad, whatever they do. But they did release him to make room for Jake Moody. And then I guess they have to bring back Payne, who, of course, served the one-game suspension for throwing a punch at Amon-Ra St. Brown. That's just kind of like the roster manipulation. Of course, Jones was an undrafted rookie from UCF. He signed with the Commanders after the 2025 draft, was waived during final cuts. They re-signed him to the practice squad last week. They signed him to the 53-man roster, released him, I assume. As soon as they get an opportunity, they'll re-sign him to the practice squad or whatever and keep him in the building. It's kind of what they've been doing weekly. They've done that bit with Robbie Chosen a few times. Remember, Robbie had the best game of the receiver a couple weeks ago, and then they cut him.
Well, it just shows you how poor.
Then they re-signed him.
How poor the wide receiver unit is as a whole, especially with Terry McLaurin sidelined for a good chunk of the season.
Got a bunch of like lesser named guys filling in week after week.
He's used to being bounced around. I just looked him up. He played at Northwest Mississippi for a couple of years, played at Ohio for a couple of years, and ended up at UCF.
Right. This was kind of surprising. Most people expected the Commanders-Broncos game to get flexed from Sunday Night Football, but no, it's not going to be flex cakes. They're still slated to host the game, and I guess what's that going to be, an 8:15,
prime time game,
yeah, whatever that is. So we'll all have to stay up and endure that, even though we're 3-8, coming off a bye week. Doesn't look like, from what people that are around the team, doesn't look like Jaden will be back for that game yet.
Would you want to see him play against Bo Nix?
Oh, 100%. If they let him play, yeah, 100%. Take that stupid brace off, pat him up, and let's get him out there. But we have to rely on whenever they clear him. So it doesn't look like at this point, if you had to guess, people around the team don't think that he'll be available for that. And most people thought, well, who wants to see Mariota and Bo Nix? Who wants to see a 3-8 team?
Is that going to grab a lot of eyeballs around the country?
Especially, imagine if you don't have Jaden, you don't have Terry, you got Mariota and like Robbie Chosen. Like, I just can't believe that that's a primetime game.
Their choices must not be great.
Right.
Yeah. The injured list still.
And Denver's got the best record in the AFC, so maybe they're just looking at it as, hey, we have one really good team.
Right. Here are a bunch of guys that are hurt, though, that at some point you could get back soon. At any point, theoretically, you've got Jaden with the elbow. You got Terry with the quad. You got Noah Brown with the groin. You got Treylon Burks. He could come back with the finger. You got Ben Sinnott with the ankle. These are a lot of guys. Will Harris, he's on IR, so I don't think he'll be back. Cajo with the concussion, he could be back. And then, of course, they opened up the 21-day window on Drake Jackson, who hasn't played in quite over a year. The guy they signed, the defensive end from the 49ers. So you never know who's going to suit up for Washington at this point. I think somebody did the stat prior to the game or during the game last week that we've missed more day one starters than any other team in football. Or if they're not number one, we're right in that mix. So it's just been one of those years for Washington and haven't been able to overcome it. I thought maybe we would go through it. It's beyond the halfway point, but here we are at the bye week and look at where guys are ranked PFF-wise. You guys care to guess? Let's start with the offense. All right, and let's do this with like guys that have played more than half the snaps. Okay,
so graded for the year.
For the year,
I think Laramie Tunsil's probably number one.
Yeah. Jones, again, number one, but again, he only has 11 snaps. Larry Tunsil, number one, 81.6 grade, according to PFF. So, by most accounts, great signings, working out. It's not translating into wins, but he's solidified, obviously the left side of the line there.
I think he's definitely been a hit. All right, so, Cakes, let's go back and forth, see if we can get it. I got number one.
The next guy played about half the starts.
The second-ranked player on the entire offense.
Yes. He's got about half, almost exactly half the snaps that Tunsil has.
Half of Tunsil's snaps.
Second highest rated.
Is he a skill player?
Yes.
Bill?
Marcus Mariota.
Ah.
Marcus Mariota, actually, with a 78.6 rating. That's higher than I would have imagined. I don't think his stats particularly blow you away, but he has had some big runs that we've noted. I think the most yards he's passed for this year is like something like 213. He's done that like 3 or 4 times.
He's mostly had a very high completion percentage.
Yeah.
He's been pretty efficient. Now, he ended the game terribly in this last game, but I thought he was having a pretty good game this week.
Just a notch below him, actually, is Jaden Daniels.
Right?
So Mariota has a 78.6 rating according to PFF. Jaden's is a 76.7.
Let me see if I can get close to the top 5. I think, now he doesn't have that many snaps, but I bet you Chris Rodriguez is ranked pretty high.
By the way, it is bizarre that
I guess not.
He's actually lower than you would think.
Mariota against Kansas City, Detroit, and Miami passed for 213 yards. That is weird.
But he lands on 213.
Times, right?
He's the only quarterback. He's the first quarterback in NFL history to go 3 consecutive games passing for 213 yards.
I know, it's really
I'm
bizarre.
Convinced of that.
That's a
I
bizarre
haven't looked
thing.
it up in a book, but I'm just stating that as fact.
I think
record.
If you look at just running, he'd be fairly up there, 65.6. But when you look at like pass blocking and run blocking, he's Rodriguez is, it's got like a 30 rating. So they don't like his blocking.
Okay, they don't like his blocking. I would guess that
here's the thing.
Cosme and Chris Paul are rated high. I might be wrong, but
no, Cosby somewhat is. Terry, even though he had only 178 snaps, and then a bunch of other guys like Luke McCaffrey, Jeremy McNichols in that same boat, then you get to Cosme. It's hard to find regular players that have played a boatload of snaps up there. In other words, Tyler Biadasz, middle of the pack. A lot of the offensive line guys, actually, middle of the pack. Zach Ertz, he's ranked 21st offensively for this team.
Oh, not surprised by that.
Yeah, it just hasn't been a great season. Josh Connerly Jr., near the bottom, as far as he's the lowest rated for the most snaps. In other words, nobody with as many snaps as him is rated lower than Josh Connerly Jr. Just been a tough season. None of the offensive guys really are flashing. All right, let's go to the defense. All right.
Top-ranked defensive guy, PFF-wise.
The top 2 guys are hurt. The second one you wouldn't really quite notice. But the first guy you should be able to guess.
Armstrong, I'm guessing, ranks high.
He's number 1 on the season. The third guy, who's basically second when you consider snaps, he's much maligned.
Luvu.
Pro Football Focus loves him. Bobby Wagner.
Okay.
He's got a 73 grade overall.
I think I'm kind of on an island on the show.
He's got a 90 grade in tackling.
I think Wagner gets crushed, and he's been beaten certainly in coverage at times.
Yeah.
But I think he's one of their better defensive players, and I think the numbers bear that out.
He ranks very high in everything but coverage.
I still can't believe he wore a Seattle Storm sweatshirt or jacket into the stadium the day that they were playing Seattle.
It's this little tribute.
I thought that was outrageous.
The next highest player that gets a lot of time, Daron Payne, 69 rating on the year. Then Jeremy Reeves is in the top 10, but in terms of players that have played more than half the snaps, he's up there like the 3rd or 4th highest rated player. I think Jeremy Reeves has really done well for himself this season.
No question.
I've been really impressed by him.
He was kind of in the special teams bucket before, and now he's proven he can play.
And then Preston Smith actually is getting some good grades here lately. Jacob Martin is right there with him. He's got a 63.6. But at the bottom, Quan Martin, whose snaps were reduced this week. He usually plays every snap. I think his were reduced by at least 25%, if not more.
Sanderstill.
Sanderstill is down at the bottom. As far as guys that have played a lot of snaps. Marshawn Lattimore. And you know who else? He hasn't played a ton. Johnny Newton. Johnny Newton
Been a disappointment.
not flashing this year. Hasn't taken that step up.
Coming up next, we will talk to the Capitals head coach Spencer Carberry here on The Fan.